bullets are in here? How much powder is left in my container? These are things that we face as shooters, especially when we're trying to buy supplies or maybe we're getting ready for a match. And, I just wanted to show you a trick that I use, and it's a pretty well-known trick, but it's possible some of you don't know it. And it's using a scale to figure out what's left. So this is really common in the retail world and wholesale world when you're doing inventory on small items. Like think of like a Home Depot or maybe a warehouse that specializes in nuts and bolts or really small items, electrical connectors. They don't actually count everything. They go by weight, and for inventory purposes, that meets all of the guidelines that they need to. So having spent most of my life in the retail world, I'm well accustomed with this. So let me show you what I do when I'm getting ready for a match or when I'm just trying to figure out if I need more supplies or something like that. So let's start with this box of bullets. Now, these happen to be all pointed. This is just from the dollar store. This is just a little Sterilite box. So once they're pointed, I can keep them in here and it's very easy to access, but I also have no idea how many are in here. So let's look at what I'm going to do. So the first thing is get yourself a good scale. Certainly there's no limit of scales on Amazon or locally. And I want to choose something like grams, okay? I don't want to use pounds and ounces because it gets messy with the conversion and the multiplication, the division. So I go to grams and I want to measure one bullet, okay? So I'm going to say, great, one bullet is 12 grams. And then we're going to put this container on the scale, and it doesn't matter, any container works. And then we're going to zero it. So now it's zeroed. I am going to put my bullets in there. I now have 3,526 grams worth of bullets divided by 12 grams per bullet. That means I have 293 or 4 bullets left. Certainly close enough for government work when it comes to prepping for a match. So this is, literally you saw that. It takes 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds to figure out, do I have enough bullets for the match I'm going to attend? And you can do this with any kind of supplies that you might have laying around. This is, bullets happen to be a great example, but this is what I do all the time. So that's bullets. Now that's just really easy, and I could, since I'm doing that, I might as well put my Post-it note in here. So now I know I have roughly 293. Now, because you're measuring in a small increment like grams, and because each bullet is 13 grams, I guarantee you that's within one bullet plus or minus of where you're going to be, and usually it's dead on as a result. Okay, so let's look at powder. So powder gets a little trickier, a little more math involved, but lots of us buy 8-pound containers. Now you might have, this is an Alliance container like Reloader 16, 17, 23, whatever. They're a little bigger. This is a Hodgdon 8-pound container, Vitivori, whatever it is. And I will just show you. So I keep a Post-it note with what each container weighs empty. So in this particular case, a Hodgdon container is 6 ounces empty, and an Alliant container is 12 ounces empty. And I just do that. I do that so I don't have to worry about doing it, at another time. And we're going to do basically the same thing, okay? Except in this particular case, I am now going to change to ounces. And we're going to zero the scale. Oops. And we're going to get to ounces. Okay. And we are going to measure it out in ounces. And my scale is being a pain right now. There we go. So we have 4 pounds. We have 4 pounds, 8 ounces worth of powder. Now that includes the container. Now remember, I said a Hodgdon container is about 6 ounces, give or take a quarter ounce. When I was measuring, I will always err on the side of being a little bit low. So we were at 4 pounds, 8 ounces. If I take, it'd be 4 pounds, obviously 2 ounces. You can either be dead on and just, see what you're going to do, or you could just kind of hedge your bets that you're going to lose a little bit of powder here or there, but you know, for all intents and purposes, you're looking at 4 pounds, 2 ounces. You could just say 4 pounds if you really wanted to be safe. And as we know, there are 7,000 grains in every pound of powder. So if we take 7,000 times the 4 pounds, that's 28,000 grains. Now again, I just kind of pull off that 2 ounces because I'm just gonna leave that as a safety buffer. And I just like doing that because then I never run into problems. So I'm just calculating it based on roughly 4 pounds of powder in here, 28,000 grains. I'm gonna divide by my average charge load. I know in this particular case, I'm currently shooting a 56 grain load. So I'm gonna divide by 56, 500. So I now have 500 rounds that I can load with this. Now this one was easy because it just happened to measure out right at 4 pounds. But you know, if it's at 3 pounds, 12 ounces, something like that, you're gonna wanna convert the ounces or the pounds into ounces, and then the grains and so forth. It's not that tough, it's just an extra step, or just round up and down depending on your needs. But it's really, really an effective way, and because you're using a decent scale, it's going to be pretty accurate. Now, I cannot stress it enough, I always try to err on the side of caution, because there is nothing worse than getting to the end of reloading for a match and maybe you're tight on powder. Powder's been tough to get, and you know, maybe you screw something up and it just gives you a little bit of a buffer there. So, you know, for me, it's an easy way to figure out what I've got. Brass is another good one. You know, let me show you this. So, maybe I want to know how many pieces are brass in here. Again, anything that's individual, I always go to grams because it's going to be the smallest increment. 14 grams. I'm then going to put my bucket on here. I'm going to zero it out. I'm going to put that on. There's a Post-it in there. It's not going to weigh much. 1,567 grams divided by 14 grams in a case. That tells me I have roughly 112, maybe 111 pieces of brass in here. So you see how fast that is. And again, I can't emphasize enough how accurate it can be, as long as you're remembering to zero out your tubs or containers, or if you know the weight of the given container. So if you're trying to get ready, you're trying to figure out what you've got sitting on hand, please don't sit there picking out bullets or brass and counting them out 5, 10, 20. Throw it on a scale, weigh it out. You know, think about what I just did. I just weighed out 119 cases or 111 cases. I weighed out, you know, several hundred, 293 bullets, and I weighed out 500 rounds worth of powder in a matter of a 3 or 4 minute period. You will never achieve that trying to count it by hand. So there's your little tip for the day. Hope it helps you.